good evening, and welcome to THFC Till I Die, your home of Tottenham Hotspur from the very start of this club to right up to now. And how are we all this evening? We're all in the mood for a good Man United spanking them tomorrow as we make an annual pilgrimage to Old Trafford, where we're going to beat them. That's what we're going to do. Joining me tonight is my usual co-host, Queen Ellie Hoybier. Ellie, how are you?
I'm really well, and I've got my 70 scarf again, which is really lucky. Is it upside down?
We didn't do well up in Old Trafford. Well, actually, we did, actually. Okay, I'll give you that.
How are you, Spurs?
It's
Pride
nice
of London, that's what we are. Yeah.
Pride of North
Yeah,
London.
I'm really well, and I'm looking forward to the show and all your questions, Dermot, as usual.
Yeah, I'm lovely. I'll tell you, I love doing these shows with you, Ellie. They're such a laugh, and we have a giggle making them as well. Believe the work we put into it, me and Ellie do have a giggle doing it. And then below us, well, he's been on before, and he is one of the best musicians in the Spurs YouTube community. He is our John Lennon. He is our, I don't know, as you can call it, Chuck Berry. He will be a Christmas #1 this year if we can all get behind him. Jimi Hendrix, and if we can get behind him, you never know. Brad could have a Christmas #1 this year. So let's all get behind him. It's Brad Matthews from the Blue Sofa Songs YouTube channel. Brad, how are you, sir?
Hello, Dermot. Hello, Ellie. I'm fine. I'm enjoying the really lovely London autumnal weather at the moment. And if I could just have that much of Chuck Berry or Jimi Hendrix ability, I'd be more than happy.
Yeah. Well, I am thinking of putting you up for Prime Minister, Brad. I wonder if you could do a better job, you and Ellie together, than probably who you got at the moment.
I think Larry the Downing Street cat could do a better job. So you know. We're only another two prime ministers away from Christmas, aren't we? You know, so.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. But they should put that in the advertising song for Prime Minister. All I want is a job for Christmas. A Prime Minister is for Christmas, not for life. Maybe we can send Levy there. You know, tell Levy we've got a perfect job for you. Become Prime Minister. There you go. Oh, Lord.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if they re-elect Boris Johnson.
Don't go there.
You never know in politics. They're all corrupt.
Well, let's stay away from politics. This is a slippery slope we're on. We'll end up in Irish politics next. That's where we're heading. So look, let's stop where we're headed. Right, we've got to say hello to a few people in the chat. Chris, good up. He says, big up everyone. Big up Bobby K and the three Spurs boys. Hope you're doing well, sir. Thank you for popping in.
Well,
some fella called Brad Matthews. Big up, Brad. Hope you're doing all right. Oh, there you go, down the bottom, Brad. That's you. Sorry.
Lisa.
We've got Lisa. Big up. Good afternoon or evening. Big up, Lisa. What's it like in Mexico? Let us know. I've been practicing this now. Durella. Am I near Ellie? Drula. That's it, Drula. Big good evening, Drula. I hope.
I was trying to teach him,
we'll practice it after the stream. Right, big up, Drula.
Yeah.
And we've got Lisa talking to Brad. We've got Drula talking to Brad. And that's who's in the chat this evening. Right, guys. Yeah. Well, we're going to start with we're actually going to start with the charity first. If you want to become a Patreon member, please do. The link is in the chat. Me and Ellie are doing a charity stream this Friday, 3 weeks this Friday. Me and Ellie are doing a 24-hour stream for autism and children with autism, ADHD, and mental health systems. Me and Ellie will be dragging by about 12 o'clock the next day. We're going, so
I think
there is the link.
That day.
That's who the charities were going after. The link for the PayPal that is linked to these charities, by the way. And Ellie's got a charity in England that we're going to be linking it to as well. The link is THFC THFC 2022 at PayPal. If you put, that's where the donations are going, and then we're doing Advocates for Autism, Kildare Autism network. Then we're doing one in England as well, who Ellie has been in contact with today. And also we're doing it for a local charity in Gorey as well, for families that I know that need a little bit of extra help. So look, I know it's Christmas coming up. We all know it's hard times with the electricity, with the gas bills and everything. I do know, but even a euro will help a young child or a family help with their child. It is a cause very close to my heart. So yes, if we can do that. But 3 weeks on Friday, me and Ellie will be doing a 24-hour stream. We're doing a quiz. We're going to show we're going to show our games. We're going to do Thfc of the day, where Ellie will be pretending to be Jimmy Hill for that show. I'm giving her Jimmy Hill-esque, Jimmy Hill-esque answers to the games when she shows them how the defending was done. And look, we're going to have fun with it. We're going to get another couple of channels involved in it as well, and we're going to have a lot of laughs with it. But there's something close to my heart, and me and Ellie are doing a big drive for this. So if you can put any money in, we're going to start raising now. We're looking to raise €1,000. That's our aim. So if we can do that, that really would help a lot of families and young children who don't have much. Young children, the families that can't afford to get toys for their children for Christmas and things like this. So that's what we're trying to do. So if you can, every little helps. So thank you so much. That really would be appreciated. Guys, we're going to start now. We've got a few more comments in. She's saying, always hot, LOL, but getting a bit of relief now with the tropical rains. I'm jealous of your weather. I love the change of seasons. Yeah, it's actually been quite nice here in the southeast of Ireland, actually. We're expecting heavy rain now. We're in the middle of a rain warning for the next 24 hours. So, yeah, so, that's what we're hoping. And it's nice in England, I've seen. Brad, nice dry day over there for Lisa.
It's lovely. I went out for a walk today in the park, and, I had just a T-shirt on. Well, I had trousers on as well, obviously. But yeah, I went out in my T-shirt, and it was fine. No problem. So,
I'm sorry. I've just had the thought in my head. I was hoping you would wear trousers, Brad. Now, come on.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
And we're only 2 away from 700 subs. Let's see, can we get the 700 during this stream? Let's see, can we get 705 on the stream? Come on, we're only 2 away. Right, we're going to start off with Manchester United and Tottenham history. We're going to start off. Man United weren't always called Man United. They're actually called Newton Heath.
Yeah, they were.
And the first time this is our. I hope you can see this. I will do better. We will do better slides now for the next one. But this is our complete record against Manchester United: Premier League, Old First Division, Second Division, FA Cups, League Cups, European Cup Winners' Cup, Charity Shield, tours and friendlies. And to be fair, Brad, we have a pretty abysmal record against them.
I didn't realise it was that bad. Wow, that's. I mean, the Premier League. I mean, obviously there was football before the Premier League, but that is stunning. I never realised. I mean, I obviously, we didn't used to normally beat them, but I didn't know it was that bad. My word,
no.
Isn't it Football League Division 1?
Yeah,
even that's pretty poor considering we had some really good teams in the 50s and the 60s. But,
It's not a great rally record, is it, Ellie? To be fair, any league not there, really, anything that springs to you to mind there, Ellie?
Maybe in the cup competitions we've done slightly better, and we drew the Charity Shield with them, didn't we? In 1967, we shared it with them, didn't we? Because we drew 3-3. Yeah, I remember that game for some odd reason. I'd been to the Wembley game against Chelsea and I was only 5, but I remember that one more. I don't know why. Maybe it's because it's a big shield, and it looks really lovely, the Charity Shield.
I think my very first ever football book.
Breaking news. Irish men have taken over a cruise ship and turned it around to come back to Papua New Guinea. Who's told he's the best in the first community.
Well,
oh no, you're in trouble now. You're in trouble now, Dermot, with the Godfather. Especially because he's a drummer.
Dave did say Brad doesn't seem sure if he was wearing trousers.
Yeah.
We've got Irish in the house. Big up Lisa, and then big up Dave.
Big up Lisa.
That's comment of that is the comment of the show. That is comment of the show.
Yeah. Unless somebody else can come up with anything funny, I might doubt it. Israel Uncovered. Come on, you Spurs. Let's smash United. Come on, Israel Uncovered. Yeah. Yes.
But
so these are the 3 games we played against you. We've got the Champions Shield in '67, which was a 3-3 draw, which Jennings, that Pat Jennings did score from his own goal kick at Old Trafford.
Yeah, he did.
We've got the semi-final in '62 at Hillsborough, which we did show a little while ago. Jimmy Greaves, of course, the genius that is Jimmy Greaves, got to there. And then, of course, when we played them in the League Cup final, which everyone will probably like to forget, where we lost 4-1 on penalty kicks at Wembley.
Yeah, I was there.
Ellie, any game that you... I'll start with you, Brad. I mean, you were there, but is there any other game that you remember watching Manchester United Tottenham that game spring to mind?
Watching live games, I didn't watch a lot during the 70s because 70s I was in Australia for a lot of the time. But since I've been back, a few stick out. Obviously, the one at Wembley in the league where Ericsson scored after 11 seconds or whatever it was. And that was probably the most convincing I've seen us defeat United. I think that was 2-0. I remember the game in our run. I'm not sure, it might have been the Leicester season where we hadn't beaten them for a time. And I think Dele Alli scored. And then I think Alderweireld scored. And then Lamela scored. And we beat them 3-0. And I was at the game, but I remember watching the highlights and you got that famous... what's his name? The commentator going, Lamela sort of thing as that went in. But the other game I remember, which I was at, the other game I remember, which I was at, which is not a happy memory, was when we were 3-0 up at half time and we lost 5-3. I remember saying to a mate of mine in the stand, look, if we can we're 3-0 up, but that was a good Man United team. That had Beckham and Nicole, good team. I said 3-0 up. I said, right, if we can hold them for like 10, 15 minutes in the second half, we'll do this. I think they made it 3-1 after about 20 seconds. So, and it was, And when Beckham made it 5-3, he was looking at us in the east, the east stand going, sort of thing. So, so I did swear at him and, But, no other games sort of come to mind. Oh, there was a game in the, say, 94-95 where we played them and we beat them 4-1. At White Hart Lane, that was in the memory as well. Because I remember going back to work, and there's a Man United supporter I knew there, and I remember he hadn't got to work, and I got all the newspapers and just put all the back pages on his desk. So when he came in, he saw all these back pages of Tottenham 4, Man United 1, and sort of thing. So I do remember that.
Yeah,
and you, any big games that you remember during your long
loads. I'll try and condense it to 2 or 3. Right, so the first one I'd like to raise is when Ozzy Ardila scored that worldie in the FA Cup. And it was such a brilliant goal. And I just remember Ozzy, he was sort of shocked that he went in a way, because he took a step back and the smile on his face was incredible, because he didn't score a lot, Ozzy, but that was a fantastic goal. And the other one that stands out, but for the wrong reasons, is when Mendes scored from the halfway line and they disallowed the goal. And me and my girls are jumping up and down. We've beaten Man United at last at their ground, and then they rule it off, and it was like 2 foot in. It's so disappointing.
I mean, even with VAR now, Ellie, they probably still would have called that. They probably
it was like that much in.
I know.
At least 2 or 3 foot in, wasn't it? And he clawed it out.
I went down the next stop.
No, I was going to say, my brother said it's because their pitch arches in the middle and you can't see the goal. That's what he told me.
Most pitches probably do that for drainage. But I remember going to the next Tottenham home game, walking down to the very front before the game started to where the linesman would have probably been and sort of try to work out, can you see it had gone over the line? But yeah, it was, I mean, miles over the line. But someone said that the linesman's United scarf blew in his face so he couldn't see it. But that game that you mentioned with Ardilli scoring, Ellie, I was in Australia. And I learned the result by phoning up some results service, but I eventually saw the highlights of it. I believe that was when Glenn Hoddle went in goal for a while, didn't he?
He did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah,
he went in.
That's
he went in goal.
That happened.
Yeah, he went in goal for, I think it was an hour. It was an hour in goal for us. Yeah. So fair play to him, kept the clean sheet and everything.
Yeah.
So they're the three big games really against Manchester United over the years that we played in them. So any memories that you have against United, please put them in the chat and let us know. Right. This is the first questions now. Yeah, okay. I'll start with you on this, Brad, then I'll go to you, Ellie. With Richarlison injuries not as serious as first thought, are you happy with that news? And also, Brad, I will add a little bit onto this question. With Kulu coming back now, where do you also see Richarlison? Will he just be a backup striker now, or do you think Conte might use him in a different position in the front three?
Well, first of all, going on the injury, I'm pleased that it's not as serious. One, because obviously it means he'll be available for Tottenham, but also when I read that he was inconsolable because he thought he was going to miss the World Cup, his first World Cup. I mean, these are human. At the end of the day, they're well paid, but they're also human beings, and I just really felt for him, because I thought, well, how would I feel if I was in that sort of similar position? And so I think feel really good for him for the fact that he's not going to miss the World Cup. And even Conte, who's normally very guarded, isn't he, when they ask about injuries, he said, no, he's definitely not going to miss the World Cup. So, and he actually said, he'll play some games before the World Cup. So once he's fit and once Thfc's fit, I guess at the end of the day, it depends on what system Conte uses and how much he seriously goes into rotation. If he plays a 3-5-2, well then, naturally speaking, you've got to have Kane on Son up front, unless they're injured, obviously. But when he plays a 3-4-3, I mean, it comes down to, I mean, we're obviously, I think Thfc is a better player than Richarlison, but, Richarlison has only been there for 5 minutes. So, let him have a whole season before, making some sort of decision on him. But I mean, it depends on how Conte wants to rotate and what games are coming up. I think in inform, Thfc will get the nod in the big games, but Richarlison puts in a lot. And I've actually got a bet on with a friend of mine, Steve, who I'm not sure if you've met him. I know you have, Ellie. And he said, he didn't think that Richarlison would score any more than 5 Premier League goals this season. I said, I think he will. And he goes, do you want to have a bet? I said, all right then. So I've got a tenner on that. So if it's 6 or more goals, I'll get a tenner out of it. So hopefully he'll do that. But it's going to be interesting to see what team Conte plays when they're all fit.
Yeah. And Ellie, look, same with you, but Richarlison it. And all Jula bought here as well. Conte said Perisic can also play in that striker role.
He did.
I mean, we're starting with Richarlison, and then do you want to answer Jula's question as well? So, Richarlison, are you happy that the injuries not as bad as we all first thought?
Very happy because the boy was looking forward to going to the World Cup as well. So, he's worked his socks off at Spurs. He's probably the best presser we've ever had. Him and Lucas Moura, they're really good at pressing. Harry Kane tends to back off a bit and let the play go in front of him. But I like Richarlison because although his close control isn't always there, it gives you so much more in other areas. And I'm so happy for him. But I want to see him play as an out-and-out striker because I don't think that right wing suits him. He seems like a fish out of water. And I just feel like he can be used more efficiently if he's played as an out-and-out striker because he's got quick feet, he's fast, he's strong, he's tenacious. That's what you need from a striker, and he's taken up some good positions. It's just unfortunate that he hasn't scored a Prem goal yet, but he got 2 in the Champions League, so he's got got off the mark. And in regards to my niece's question, Perisic can play that role because you know what, his legs aren't as fresh as when they were like when he was 22, 23. He's not that sort of player anymore. But I think we can play him like that role. But you know what? I prefer to play him on the wing because his crossing is fantastic. You know, you can't get a better crosser of the ball than Harrison.
No, he's very good. Very good.
I think we'll waste him as a striker.
I don't know if anyone's seen the latest Alistair Gold. Well, actually, not the latest because he did a little 5-minute one, but the previous one is hour-long epic. He actually mentioned that Richarlison donates 10% of his salary to a cancer hospital in Brazil, in his hometown. So, you know, that's
really good,
I think you have to be up for that, definitely.
It is.
So nice.
Look, for me, with Richarlison, for me, he's not a right winger. He hasn't really. That's not his position. He's more of a striker down the middle. You play him there. He's good at holding the ball up. He's good at the shithousery as well, winding the defenders up. He is brilliant at that. But as a right winger, no. Look, for me, I think Conte. I think he'll play anyway. Conte asked him to play. If Conte asked him to play right wing back, he will play there. It's that sort of player, and I think he's that sort of person. Look, for me, Perisic, if we have to have an emergency striker, yeah, grand. I know he can play up there, but he hasn't been the same since his latest injury. And I think that's why we haven't seen the best of him. He has good games, then he hasn't got good games. And I think that's the injury to playing and a factor in there. But for me, look, I'm over the moon. It's not as bad as we all thought. I'm over the moon. You can go to the World Cup because it's every player's dream to go and play in the World Cup. So, and look, my tip for the World Cup's Argentina and Brazil anyway. So I want Richarlison fit for that. I don't think any other team in the world can touch Brazil or Argentina at this presently time.
Richarlison's also done very well for Brazil lately, hasn't he? He scored a few goals for them. So he probably would get selected.
No disrespect to all the English fans that are watching, but I just think you'll get to the quarterfinals, and I think I think Argentina or Brazil will go the whole way because they've been
probably right. I mean, the England team that played in the Euros, I think if we had that team in form, then we'd probably do well. But recently, we've just been pretty poor form. So I'm not holding too much hope for us to get to do anything that we any brilliant stuff in the World Cup, but. We shall see. No. As long as we beat America.
No, we shall see. Yeah, that's it. And Iran. Right. Imagine Iran playing America, Brad and Ellie. I mean, whoever decided that England group must have been... You've got England, Wales. There's a derby.
Before, didn't they? They did it in the World Cup before, and they all basically...
America versus Iran.
Yeah. They swapped flowers and shook hands to say, hey, look, we're football players. You know, we don't believe, all this politics going on. So... Yeah, so it'd be interesting.
Brings everybody together, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It does.
But obviously on Spurs YouTube community, we got quite a few American people on there, and
we have. Like Jacob, come on, Jacob, come to the dark side.
We've got big up Shamu Van Spurs. Big up Shamu. It says Perisic to play left wing. I agree with you, man. Yeah, I think Perisic, for me, is a brilliant crosser of the ball. He really is. That's one thing we were lacking last season. Was that some? I'd love to see if he could take free kicks in and around the area, in and around the box. I would actually like if he can do that. Tell Harry Kane, go and have a drink. Go and talk to the fans somewhere because that man cannot. Dave, I'm sorry. I'm about to slate Harry Kane. Look, I can hear the rumblings from there already. The thunder is starting.
It's after your garters. I'm telling you.
Harry Kane cannot take a free kick. Forever. So Harry, if a free kick comes, just go and talk to the crowd. Go and find Dave in the crowd, or just go and speak to Conte about what to leave it to Sonny or Perisic, please.
I think even
they've got Nick Koopman.
Yeah, if David Harris is watching. If David Harris is still watching, I think even David would say he shouldn't be taking free kicks. So.
He's getting out of his
I hope he agrees with that.
Very poorly today.
And I'll tell you one thing as well. I will guarantee Harry Kane will break Jimmy Greaves' record before the World Cup.
That's amazing. That's so amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, Jimmy Greaves, as you probably I've said many times, was my favourite player as a kid. So to think that anyone actually is going to break his record is absolutely amazing. And I think I think we should underestimate what that record is for Kane to do. You know, and because I can't see anyone, certainly in our lifetime or my lifetime, breaking that again. You know, so
once that record is broken, me and Ellie and Philip will be doing a Jimmy Greaves special. We're waiting for that record to be broken. Then we're going to do a Jimmy Greaves special. Look, I grew up in Saints and Greaves as a kid, and watching him. I don't remember him as a footballer, but I do remember Saints and Greaves, and that was my Saturday morning watching them two from the 80s up to, I think it was the early 90s they finished, wasn't it?
I think he retired at 30 or 31. He retired from football, which is too young.
But anyway,
he went to
Barnet. He did. Yeah, he did. Good old Barnet. Big up Nick Cookland.
My brother Boo played against him.
Oh, really? Wow. Imagine that. Wow. Even if I could say, even if it's a 61-year-old Jimmy Greaves, if I could say I'd played against him, that'd be brilliant.
Yeah.
I know.
We've got a few comments here. Ellie. We've got Nick Cookland. Ethan, guys, would like to see Perisic up front. Big up, Nick. Thank you for joining us. We've got Carl Simpson saying, good that Richie isn't as bad as thought, as we need him and Decky back in the squad, causing trouble for the opposition. Big up, Carl. We've got Lisa. Big up, Lisa. Just Perisic's original position is left wing. Conte converted him into a left wing back at Inter, if I'm not mistaken. He did, Lisa. That is very true. Shimu goes, Perisic has taken some of the set pieces for Croatia. And he said, yes, Lisa. Basically, he never plays left wing back for Croatia. And Lisa's saying big up to Shimu. So big up, everyone. And get your comments in. Get your questions in for Brad and Ellie and myself. If you've got a question for us, ask us. If you don't agree with something, please just get the questions in. And please, we're only 2 away from 700. 2 more we need. We just need 2 people to hit that lovely red subscription button and keep hitting that like button. We're at 22 likes now at the moment. Come on, let's get that up to 30 before 30 or 35 for the end of the show. Ellie, I'll start with you with this question. With Conte saying he enjoyed working with Christian Eriksen at his time at Inter Milan, do you think Conte will try to sign him back or go after Maddison in January? Or is there another midfielder that you would like to see Tottenham go for in the transfer window?
Do you know what? I like Eriksen, but I think he's had his day at Spurs. And I really would. I've wanted to have Maddison at our club for years, you know, because the first time I heard about us going after him was David Pleat wanted him because he'd scouted him from before he joined Leicester. So, yeah, I would like to have Maddison, because he's fantastic at scoring goals. He's already got 10 or 11 this season, I believe, in all competitions, and he can assist. And that could be the difference between us, like getting right up there and actually challenging strongly for the league, or just fading. Because you think if he can score 15 to 20 goals for us and assist maybe 10 or 15 as well, that's going to push us right up there, you know. And also, it's just general play. I always like a player who's creative in the team. Like, I'm not saying Højbjerg and Bentancur aren't creative, because they are to a point, but they're not. No James Maddison, they aren't, right? So I just feel that he's going to be the big difference. I'd really love him, like, go full pelt for James Maddison. Come on. I hope Spurs are listening to this, because as an ex-Spurs lady and being a creative midfielder myself, I knew what I could bring to my team, what other players couldn't. And it's vision as well, Dermot. The boy's got vision, and he takes up really good positions, scoring positions. That's why he's a clever player, very clever player. Yeah. James Maddison, come on. Make him ours.
I mean, Brad, we've got James Maddison who can go for. Jimmy Mad. We've got Lisa saying here we're linked with Zanola as well from Inter Milan. I think it's Inter Milan.
Is it or
Juventus? No, Roma. They play from Roma.
Yeah, Roma. Yeah.
Do you know, we were linked with the Babler from Juventus from Juventus before he went to another club. Look, as Carl Simpson says here, we don't want to go back to Ericsson. It's time to move on. Do you think, Brad, can I put this to you? Do you think in the summer Conte did go after Ericsson?
It's difficult, isn't it? Because they asked him. They asked him that.
He got to say, yeah, okay. Do you know?
They asked him in the press conference, and he didn't. I mean, he's obviously not going to say yes or no, but he did say he'd like to work with him. So it would be interesting to. I mean, I always thought that I agree with Ellie that Ericsson's time has gone, but he was a free transfer and I'll probably be on high wages. And I thought it was a bit of a no-brainer him being a free transfer. I don't think we'll go in for him again because he's obviously signed a contract at Man United now. But yeah, it's hard to tell whether we were interested. As far as James Maddison's concerned, I think a few things have got to slip into place. First thing is that Conte's got to want him. You know, that's the first thing that needs to happen. That Conte's got to, well, Conte and Paratici, I guess, have got to want him. But it also will depend on whatever happens with. I know that we got a question coming up a bit later on with the naming rights, and I'll explain myself a bit more later. With this naming rights with Google or Amazon or whatever it is, it depends where we are in the league going into the transfer window, because it also depends on Conte's contract position. Because what could happen, he could chat during the World Cup about his contract, but he could very well say, I'm not going to sign it until we see what you back me with in January. So he could say, well, if he does want Maddison, he could say, right, if you want me and Maddison, show me that if you really want to do what I want to do, get me Maddison. Because Maddison's going to be expensive. Now, he might want to come to Tottenham because Leicester are in a pretty poor position, and he might want to come to Tottenham. But and I'd love to see him at Tottenham because he is that as Ellie was saying, that creative player. But I think a lot of things have got to slip into place before we actually have any chance to sign him because he will be expensive. But he could be that sort of marquee signing that sort of that one goes towards Tottenham having a real good title bash or whatever. Two goes towards Conte extending his contract, and three, us believing that he's going to be back. Conte's going to be back because that will keep him at the club for longer than that. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Yeah. How about Barella?
I mean, look, we've got Nick Copeland here as well, guys. With Barella. Brad, I'll start with you and then I'll go to you, Ellie. Would you go for Barella in the January transfer market, or would you wait till next summer?
I think, I mean, again, it depends on what happens. It literally follows the same reasoning that I had with Maddison. Is that we all remember back when we were doing pretty well in the league, and it came to the January transfer window, and I think we were probably, at that time, what's his name? I forget that guy's name now. Was banging in goals for Arsenal. Van Persie was banging in goals for Arsenal, and a friend of mine said, this Tottenham team, if we had Van Persie up front, we win the league. And we needed a player. We needed a defender and a striker in that transfer window. I believe we were interested in Tevez and it might have been Kale, possibly Kale. And who do we get? We got Sahar and that new, no disrespect to Kiwis, but we got that Kiwi player. I can't remember his name. And it's like, well, both on free transfers. Like, well,
Nelson.
Sorry? Yeah. And we did
Nelson.
Yeah. So again, if we're in a position where Conte says, look, we could do something here, Barella's available, and and again he's going to cost a bit of money. Say, look, if you want to back me, if you believe, because apparently Conte will want to win a title, we know that's what he wants to do. Maybe not the season, but certainly in seasons to come. He can use that. So it's going to be the same situation with his contract, with the naming rights and that sort of thing. I mean, when we get to the naming rights question, I might mention interesting what Sean was saying on his show the other day. We'll talk about that later. But again, any player that's in this sort of marquee signing position, I think will depend on a load of things, 2 or 3 things, where they are when the transfer window opens.
Yeah.
Well, that's great, Ellie. We're going to pop now. You're going to get first shot of this. We're going to go now onto the Thfc Tottenham. This is our predictive lineup. Me and Ellie have really banged our heads together with this one. Well, I did. Ellie didn't, but Ellie, this is my predictive lineup. I'm going for a 3-4-3. I'm going for Lloris in goal, Romero, Dyer, Longley, the back 3. I'm going for Doherty and Perisic, the 2 wing backs. Højbjerg and Bentancur in the middle. Then they're going for Son, Kane, and Lucas. Now, I was torn between Lucas or Hill. Now, I said in the Irish Hotspur last night that Hill would get that spot. But I'm just thinking Lucas gives you a bit more on that right-hand side. I just feel he gives you that bit something extra, and probably bring Hill on for the last half hour and that. But that is my lineup. That's my formation, 3-4-3. I don't think we will start with a 3-5-2. I just don't think Conte will do it away at Old Trafford. Personally, I think we've got to be disciplined. We've got to be concentrating. Man United may be playing bad, but if you give Anthony 2 seconds on the ball, Ronaldo, if you give Rashford as well, they will make you pay. If they're in, they will make you pay. So we've got to concentrate and be disciplined for the whole 90 minutes. But that's my 11 to start the game off. Ellie, what would you Tottenham 11? Do you agree with me, or what changes or formation changes would you make to that team? And also, very quickly, Ellie, in the chat, do you agree with that team? And even put your own team in the chat for the Man United game, so you can let us know.
Let us know. Do you know what I would do though? I would. I know this might be controversial, but I'd bench Perisic because he's getting older, and I don't think if we want him for the Champions League because of his experience. I think maybe we should play Sessegnon because he hasn't let us down. The only thing he doesn't really do is take on a player, but he hardly ever loses the ball, and he's good defensively, whereas Perisic isn't. And they're going to be our all-out attack, Man United. So I think with his legs, I think it might be better to play Sessegnon. I think if he's not going to go for the 3-4-3, I would put Basuma in there as well and take out Lucas, and then just play Son and Kane up front, just to safeguard the defence, and let Højbjerg and Bentancur have free rein to join Son and Kane, because they're more than capable of doing a good pass, both of them, and linking up play very well with Son and Kane. So that's what I would prefer. I'd keep the rest, but just change Perisic and bring him on if we need him, and save him for the Champions League game, save his legs. Yeah.
And Phil Baby said he prefer a 3-5-2 formation.
I agree with him. Yeah.
And Ellie, just quickly before we get to you, Brad, Ellie, look, when we play 3-4-3, we've seen compact, we've seen more tight as a unit. If we play 3-5-2, we've seen more attacking, more free flowing. Do you think going away with?
I disagree. I disagree. I think we look more solid as a 3-5-2 because, first of all, Basuma's mopping up all the different work that normally Højbjerg does. It gives free rein for Højbjerg to go and attack, and he's more than capable of getting a goal. He's already got 3 this season, and Bentancur's chipped in with 1. But they link up so well, Højbjerg and Bentancur, and with Basuma, it gives it an extra bit of defensive work. Because he's a very fit boy, Basuma. He can go left, right, middle, left, right, and he won't tire. And he's very good at winning the ball back, and he's very good at pressing. So I think it gives us actually more in terms of creating more chances. And the proof was in the pudding when they brought up the stats. When Basuma came on, we had 8 extra chances. So, but we also stopped them from playing. They didn't get through once. I just prefer 3-5-2 because that's the formation I played in as a player.
Ellie, look, for me, I sort of agree with you, but I don't agree with you. Look, everyone's complaining about 3-4-3. We need to play 3-5-2, but we seem to have it was Everton playing the low block on Saturday, and I didn't think you thought we didn't play well in the first half, or I thought we did actually play well in the first half. But I think we had to keep it tight, Ellie, for the first hour or first 70 minutes. And then if you want to change it to a 3-5-2, then change it. But we've got to keep it tight, Ellie, because how bad Man United are playing at the moment. You give Ronaldo a sniff, or Rashford or Anthony a sniff, they're going to punish you, and we can't be lax and lazy in defence. So we've got to play with a formation that's going to keep us tight for the first half. Brad, you've listened to me, you've listened to Ellie. What's your thoughts on that lineup and formation? And do you agree with Ellie that we need to start with the 3-5-2?
Yeah, I would, for the simple reason that it allows Højbjerg and Bentancur to go further forward. And Man United's defence is suspect, as we've seen. I would probably prefer a defensive left wing back, which I presume would be Sessegnon, because they've got that guy Anthony, isn't he? Who's fairly good. So you need to look up to him. Now, depends where Rashford plays. I mean, I'm presuming Rashford will play up top or on the left. If you're going to what and I'd have Son and Kane up front as per normal. If we go to what team Conte's going to pick, I don't think Kulusevski's going to be fit. He might be on the bench, but I don't think he'll be in the starting 11. And again, it depends on whether Conte thinks that Lucas is ready, because Lucas has just come back from an injury. He did. I think when he mentioned in the press conference that he can play Lucas, Gil, Perisic, I think that was just a little bit of 5-dimensional chess, sort of having a bit of a laugh. But yeah, if he feels that Lucas is ready to start a game, then we could well see the 3-4-3 happening tomorrow. And he tends to play. He rotates in a way that he plays players in 2 games in a row. So the one place we're really strong where you can do that is left centre back and left wing back. So I believe that Lenglet played a couple of games and then Davis was in the team on Saturday. So I'd imagine that he'd play Davis at left back. I think Davis would probably be better just on an experience level. He's played at Old Trafford before. He knows the atmosphere, that sort of thing. And again, Perisic has had a couple of games at left wing back, so you'd imagine that it'll be Sessegnon's term. On the right side, well, I mean, you can't. I mean, Romero and Dyer, they pick themselves. On the right side, again with Doherty, it'd be interesting. I think Doherty would get the nod because I think he's Conte's number 1 right wing back. And as much as I'd love to see Spencer play, that this probably won't be the game to play Spencer. And Doherty's been playing well. Let's be honest. The interesting selection will be when Emerson is available again, because Doherty would have played 3 games in a row, or 3 games in a week, coming back from injury.
That's the question I've actually got compared with Doherty, Brad, and I think that's a good point to bring that question up now. So let me bring that up about Doherty. Now, look, we'll take that team down for a minute now. Look, we've got Harry Kane's thoughts on Doherty. He says, I'm really happy for him. He's been waiting for his opportunity since he got injured last season. He had to be patient this year, just biding his time, working harder and getting fit to pass. So really, Brad, my question to you is, what are your thoughts on Doherty? And does he start ahead of Emerson after the Man United game on Wednesday, stating that he probably is going to be Conte's number 1 right wing back? Where do you put him in? Does he get the nod now for Newcastle?
You want me or Ellie?
You, Brad. Sorry, you.
Oh, okay.
I was asking you.
Yeah, I'll just go back to what I was saying. I think it depends on whether he... I think Doherty, in form and fit, is his number 1 right wing back. It just depends on whether he thinks he's ready to play 3 after coming back from an injury. Where he's ready to play 3 games. Well, he's actually played against Brighton, didn't he? He played against Brighton. He didn't play against Frankfurt, did he? So he played against Everton, Man United probably tomorrow. Does he think he's ready to play 3 games in a row? We're lucky in the fact that we're playing on a Wednesday night and then we're playing on Sunday, so it's an extra day to recover. But he does seem to trust Emerson for some strange reason. Probably would prefer Emerson in a more defensive role if you need a defending at your right wing back. So maybe against Newcastle where we're going to be attacking them hopefully, or maybe then Matt Doherty gets the nod. But it depends, and that we know that they have all these sports scientists there that that know how these players are, sort of thing. So I mean, Kane made a really interesting comment, didn't he? He said he'd rather play every 3 days because it keeps his rhythm going, his rhythm as a player. And I guess the same would apply to Doherty if he's fit. So, yeah. Controversial, David. Controversial.
Yeah, we've got Dave Pearson, Emerson.
Emerson is better than Doherty.
Well, look, no. To be fair, me and Dave. Now, when me and Dave have seen Doherty play for Ireland, and him going past the halfway line is like he gets a nosebleed, and he never passes forward. He always passes sideways.
He was doing that.
But I have to say, he played. Do you agree with David?
I think Doherty had a good game against Everton. He got
forward. It's hard to choose between them. They're much of the muchness. You know, I think Doherty's got more, maybe more going forward. He's more accurate going forward. I think probably who's coming on, David.
Hey,
Philip. Right,
I'm on holiday.
Now,
everyone,
listen, we everyone behave yourself. Not too bad.
How's it going?
How are you, Philip? How's the boat?
Oh, look at that!
It looks lovely. Wow.
Jesus.
Yeah, just
very nice.
Magician's show. Yeah, just seen a magic act. It was very good. Very good.
Nice.
What Cruz? What
was it Nuno trying to say he was a decent manager?
You look very dapper, Philip.
You have to dress up an odd time, you know.
What cruise ship is it, Philip?
It's the Royal Caribbean, Anthem of the Seas.
Wow.
Has it got a nightclub? Has it got a nightclub right at the very back of the ship?
No, it's not that one. No, it's
okay.
It's an even bigger one than this. It's 160,000 tons.
Right.
Wow. You can
see
Newcastle to London.
I just
I went on a cruise ship 20 years ago, and it was actually amazing. It's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
You can swim, can't you, Philip?
Right, I want to clear this up now. At the
Philip Dermott said he's a better musician than you. What's your
I want
fault?
to clear this up. Right. I want to clear this up now. I said at the beginning there's a great
he said that Brad is the
guitarist, a bit like Jimi Hendrix and all that. Right, and Dave's sort of saying now that Brad's a better musician than you. So, what's your thoughts on that then?
Well, I'll give you the usual routine that I get every Tuesday night when I play. Right, the band leader comes out every night and he says it every Tuesday night. He says, "At the present, we have 6 musicians on stage and a drummer." So that answers the question.
Well, I have to say that. Do you play guitar at all, Philip?
No, I don't.
No, well, I don't play drums, so we'll leave it at Philip's the best drummer in the Tottenham community, and I'm the best guitarist in the Tottenham community.
That's spot on, Brad.
No, I actually did say musician. I didn't say guitarist. I did say musician. To be fair, so
well, to be fair, I don't really think I'm a musician. To be fair, so
your songs are very good. Your songs are very good, Brad. They really are very good.
Thank you.
I like the lyrics. I like the lyrics.
Yeah. Well, that's what makes a song, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, as I say, I mean, I'm learning as a songwriter, but my guitar playing is probably fairly average, but slow and Matthews.
There you go.
Quite controversial, actually, Andrew, because. Sorry, I guess just one more point. Sorry, you get me talking about music, and I'll go on for hours. It's an interesting point about Eric Clapton because no matter how good a guitarist is, I think Eric Clapton's a bit of a dick, actually. So
he is at the moment, yeah.
You heard it here first. Eric Clapton is a D-I-C-K.
Yeah. Say hello to my friend.
What was 17? Adama Traore scored. Is that you missing? Oh, she didn't want to be on camera.
Hello.
Hello.
Right.
Oh no.
What you just said there.
Chuck her in the sea. Chuck her in the sea.
No. It took me by surprise there, didn't it?
Adama Traore scored for Wall.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Can I just
ask
you?
It's a miracle.
How long are you going to be on for, lads?
Game.
Quite a long time. We're going to
Right,
we're going to get Jimi
minutes.
Hendrix on from the dead. We're going to bring him back from the dead
Oh,
to play.
good. Give me 10 minutes. I'll log back in again. Just have to go. The clearing is out of here now, so I will log in about 10 minutes. Okay.
Okay. All right then.
See you
Problem. Okay.
See you, Philip.
Thank you. Listen. I just want to apologise to everyone. I'm lagging very badly, so if we are over talking each other,
you're lagging and you're breaking up.
Yeah.
And you was moaning about my internet.
So thank you. So we do apologise. My internet's fine, Ellie.
You're lagging.
My internet's fine. We've got Dave here saying Mrs. Brady was.
Thank you for allowing Philip.
Miss Brady says, Miss Brady, thank you for allowing Philip to give up
so much of his time to the top. Yeah, Mrs. Brady. She's the Godfather's wife.
Brady.
They should make a program called that, The Godfather's Wife.
Well, that's a good one.
Done,
That's
Mrs.
a good one.
Brady.
And also Danger Ranger. Haven't seen you before, but big up. Welcome to the chat. And I think Emerson is her third choice behind Doherty.
I think that's my husband.
It's Kulu. It's fit. Maybe. Right. We're gonna go on now to Conte's contractual situation at Tottenham. Now, I'll start with you in this, Ellie. With Conte saying in yesterday's press conference, Mike.
He's going to burn the house down.
Yeah. Okay. With Conte saying in his press conference yesterday, my contract is not important. Do you think Conte will sign a new contract before the World Cup or after the winter transfer window?
I don't see why not. I think he'll sign it after, definitely. He's saying it's not important because he's happy with what he's doing and he's happy with the progress of the team and the whatever he touches turns to gold. Conte, he's a miracle worker. I just think it will be after the World Cup though. After the World Cup, I'd say, rather than the winter transfer window, because I think they'll want to tie him in. And if we're still in contention up to
Ellie,
then,
can I just stop you there? Can I stop you there?
Yeah, we've got breaking
news. We've just reached 700 subscribers. So thank you, everyone, for getting us there. Absolutely.
Woo!
So look,
thank you, everybody.
We're on the march
we
to
appreciate
200 now. We've got 200. Thank you.
We appreciate it.
Yeah.
So good.
I would never thought when I started this that I would actually get the 700 subscribers. So I'm absolutely bowled over.
Yes.
And absolutely, we all are bowled over.
Now. Aren't we,
yeah, we are. We'll stick a bit of whiskey in the jar on. We're going to put the Dubliners on now. We're going to put a bit of Thin Lizzy. Ellie,
I could do a bit of Irish dancing.
There's one way to deal with Ellie. Just take her offline.
I could do some Irish dancing and you could tuck me out for good.
But yeah, no, I just want to say thank you to Ellie, to Philip, and Izan. I couldn't have picked three better people to do a YouTube channel with, and to reach 700 subscribers is amazing. Look, we're only 200 off 1,000, so let's get there before the World Cup. That was my aim, and I think we can do it now. But I'm really touched and bowled over. Ellie, I can't thank you enough for everything you do, and Philip as well when he comes on. And also this man here. And I think we all owe this man a debt of gratitude for all he...
For the Irish Hotspur.
He's done. He's the one that gave us the break. Yeah, he gave me my break. He gave Brad his break. He gave Ellie her break. And this is the mothership. This is the place where this channel was born from. So Dave, he says, years old, Dermot, Philip, Ellie, for what you do. I'm buzzing for you. Look, it was you, Dave, that put us here, and this is much as it's our success, it's your success as well, because you're the mothership to this channel.
Yeah.
And thank you so much and all. We've got James Joris saying congratulations, boys. Big up everyone. Congratulations, guys, from Andrew Gregory.
Thank you.
Lisa.
Thank you, Lisa.
Yeah.
She's
go on,
go
on. Ellie, can you do woohoo for me? Woohoo.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
That's it. Every time I do it, I sound like an owl. I go, woohoo.
I love woohoo.
Congrats on 700 guys. On to 1,000. Philip Baby says, big up everyone, thoroughly deserved. We've got Paul here and said, hi, keep up the great work. Thank you, Paul. I haven't seen you before, but thank you, Paul. Thank you for popping in. And Dave says, this is your moment. Enjoy it. Don't be soppy on me. Look, everyone get over to the Irish Hotspur, put a like, subscribe, and on there, because they were trying to get to, I think, 9,000 or 10,000. Let's get them there. And Dave, I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah.
But thank you for everything. Right,
yeah.
Ellie, let's get back now. We've done the celebrations. Right, let's get back to the business. Right, I think it was Brad I was going to. Sorry, Brad. With Conte saying that my contract is not important yesterday's press conference, and do you think Conte will sign a new contract before the World Cup, or will he use the transfer window?
Yeah, this is an interesting one.
As a leverage to get a better deal out of Levy.
I think Conte says his contract is not important, but I think if Tottenham come into him and say, "Look, we want to give you a new contract and new terms," blah blah blah, that indicates to Conte that they believe in him and that they want to back him. It all again, I think they'll probably discuss it during the World Cup, because that's probably the best time. I don't think it will sign one. I think the transfer window will be important. I think they'll need to show some sort of commitment in that transfer window. So any deal, they might work up a deal, and he might very well say, "Well, let's see how the transfer window goes, and and sign it after that." But yeah, it's some very interesting moments coming up in our club over the next few months, both on the playing side and behind the scenes. But I certainly think, although Conte says his contract is not important, I think it shows him, if they come in and say, "Look, we want to redo this sort of thing." They can. As I understand it, the extension is all in Tottenham's hands. So Tottenham can say to him, "Well, that contract you signed, we've now extended it for another season." That's in their hands. That's not something that Conte has to agree with. Although Conte would have agreed to that when they did the original contract. But I think they'd be an idiots if they didn't come in and say, "Look, how about a new deal?" And then Conte's quite within his right to say, "Well, look, you've got to share my vision, and you've got to show that you share my vision by backing me." And again, that depends on naming rights, whatever. And we'll talk about that later, obviously. But that's going to be interesting as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I don't think we'll see Conte on in a new contract. I think the earliest will be after the transfer window, and then you're probably in a situation where Kane will probably sign one at the end of the season. I think you're going to see that.
Yeah.
And Ellie, this is Højbjerg.
As I said to Brad.
You see him? Højbjerg saying, "Come on, Conte, sign. Come on, Conte, sign."
Yeah, that's true. Ellie, look, do you think the players that were after in the transfer windows, they're waiting for Conte? Do you think the players were after? Do you think the players that we're after in the January and summer transfer windows next year are waiting for Conte to sign this new contract before they do come to us? Do you think that's going to have a big impact who go after
especially
in January and
players.
in the summer, in the transfer summer window after the season's finished?
Yeah, I don't think so much with the British players like Maddison, because I think he will want to escape from Leicester as quickly as he can. Because they're going nowhere, are they? And we're on an upward trajectory, Spurs. I mean, we've only lost 2 games since April, so I can't see him not wanting to come to Spurs, But the Italian boys, they seem to be loyal to the Italian clubs in general. There's not that many Italians who've come to the Premiership, really. There's not like tons and tons like the French and the Spanish. They tend to stay in Italy a lot. I mean, the weather's lovely over there, isn't it? And the food's lovely. So why would they want to move? You know, I just feel Conte's pulling power is there, definitely. So if anyone's going to draw them to England, it'll be Conte, because he's a charismatic man. He's a methodical man in terms of what he wants out of his team. He'll bleed them dry. You see what he did with Davis last year. You know, that didn't happen just by luck.
Yeah.
He went up a notch or two, didn't he, Davis? If he can do that with Davis, he can do it with anybody. Yeah, I just feel the pulling power.
That's true. Brad. Yeah, I mean, Brad, look, we've got Nick here, Copeland saying Conte doesn't want any distractions that could affect the team. He wants the league title.
I think that's also. I mean, he more or less said that in the press conference. They asked him that question. He said, "Look, you know, I'm just concentrating on the next game." But obviously, during the World Cup, then he's got that opportunity. There will be opportunity. I mean, obviously, he'd probably take a bit of a holiday as well, which he fully deserves. But I think he wants to concentrate on the football at the moment. So, and I'd say that it will be a situation where maybe they might get some agreement before the season restarts. So, and it might be subject to getting backed in the transfer market. And then if he does get backed in the transfer market, there's a right sign the contract, all done. You know, so I think the actual negotiation will be done during if it is going to be done, will be done during the World Cup. But I totally agree. He won't want to do it. You won't want to be taught. And to be fair, players like Kane won't be wanting to talk about contracts until the football part is out of the way.
Yeah,
and then do it.
Yeah.
No. That's true. Yeah, Ellie. We've got Paul here. He's also saying he thinks that he will wait and see what funds will be available for him. Look, this leads us on actually to the naming rights.
Yeah.
So, do you want to answer this from question now, what you think, or do you want to wait for the question to the naming rights? Because they're sort of linked into two, really, and that's a great way of bringing this into the naming rights. Now, what I've heard now, there's an article on the a website called Football Insider, and it's from a man called Adam Williams. He's a finance and governance correspondent for the Football Insider. This is what he says. Tottenham intend to announce a stadium naming rights deal before Christmas, sources have told Football Insider. Google and Amazon are both in the running to secure a 10-year plus agreement, which is likely to be worth up to 25 million per season. The North Londoners have been without a title sponsor since the 62,850-seat arena opened in April 2019, but are now confident they are approaching the end game in talks. An announcement ahead of the festive period would particularly suit Amazon, whose flagship streaming product, Amazon Prime, is the full complement of Premier League St. Stephen's Day, which is Boxing Day in England, fixtures.
Yeah.
It would also fit into their retail giant's commercial strategy as they gear up for what is the busiest months of the year. Amazon have also had pre-existing links with Spurs, who starred in the All or Nothing documentary series in 2020.
Yeah.
It goes on to say, but Google, are reported by the article last Monday, remain firmly in the mix as Daniel Levy and commercial director Ted Klein attempt to force through what will be an English record agreement. Two sources with knowledge of the talks have told Football Insider that Spurs, who are currently first in Group D, want a deal in place well in advance of the Champions League knockout rounds. The logistics operation, including displaying the choosing sponsors' branding at the stadium and implementing any technology tie-in, will be easier this year than most, with the stadium not used during the Winter World Cup. While the schedule has not been yet announced for the NFL games, will also return to the stadium in 2023, Spurs are currently seeking upgrades to the retractable pitch that cost them upwards of £20 million just 3.5 years ago. So, Ellie, how are you feeling?
Yeah.
I mean, that's from the Football Insider. If we pull off the naming rights with Google or Amazon, as that report said, do you feel that would have an effect on our future transfer windows? And also, would that have an effect on Conte signing this new contract?
Yeah. Just put it this way, I'd be very disappointed if.
I'll start with you, Philip, if you want to. Yeah.
Yeah, start with Philip. Go on.
Yeah.
Start with Philip.
He's just showing us around the chair.
Yeah.
But we're not worthy. We're not worthy.
What do you think to that, Philip?
I'm sure. Yeah, I mean, I no real preference between Google and Amazon, but I just think Amazon Arena rolls off the tongue better than Google Stadium or Google Arena. If you get 25, that's 250 million. Some of that has to be earmarked for the team. It cannot be used to write down the debt. Because what's the point? You know, you get naming rights. It's for the stadium. The team plays at the stadium. So some of that money has to go into the team. If that's the case, happy days. If it goes through and that money is not at least partially invested in the team, there's going to be an awful lot of very unhappy Spurs fans out there. Because they will see it's just another grab, pay down the debt on the stadium. But you know it's but we're not in any trouble paying it back. And on the plus side, to get a sponsor like Google, they're one of the top 10 around the world. Quite a pat on the back of Spurs that we're moving in such circles of sponsorship. You know, I'm
just put it this
goes
way:
through.
the commercial director's going to be on a wedge, isn't he? He is, isn't he? He's going to be on a wedge. That commercial. I'd like to be the commercial director, the new one.
Yeah, I mean, Philip, look, if it all goes,
Because the only drawback is every Arsenal, Chelsea, and West Ham fan will be changing their internet provider from Google because they don't want to be reminded of the Spurs every time they switch on the.
But Philip, all sincerely now, if say Amazon, who we've done the documentary before, do you think it could well be Amazon and Google is a bit of a smokescreen?
Oh, you wouldn't know what's going on, really. You know, it's very possible. We have history with Amazon, allowing them that documentary. So I would say if there's going to be a favourite in this race, it's Amazon, and Google might just get thrown in. Maybe they're interested, but they could be the sort of the what's for the stool pick whole deal. That they're there.
Ellie, look, we've had the naming right. We've had Joe Lewis taken off as owner of Tottenham Hotspur, with the lawyers being brought in from the Bahamas. As we now got the naming rights coming in as either Google or Amazon. What do you see? I read somewhere today that the person that Levy brought round from China is thinking about making a bid for the club. What do you see happening? Can you see Amazon or Google just coming in with the naming rights and then buying the club lock, stock and barrel later down the road? Or what do you see happening with all this?
I don't know, because you get confused because you don't know what's not true. You get confused with what's true and not, and what might be a smoke screen. You know, there must be some validity in it that Google have put their names come up, because they wouldn't want a scandal where they're linked with something and it doesn't work out for them, because they're used to winning business. They're not used to losing business, this company. No. I think last time I checked, they're worth near £958 billion on the stock market. So I think there is some truth there, but I would actually prefer Amazon to win it. Yeah. If I had to choose. Yeah. Because of that association with them, and then we can do future documentaries with them. And I just think it gives a better all-round ring, Amazon Arena, rather than a Chrome Dome. I don't know.
Chrome Dome sounds like a dodgy dome.
Amazon's going to be a better sponsor for us. Yeah. Because they're more, I think they'll be more in tune with what we want as a club.
I want Guinness to do the naming rights, the Guinness Arena.
Oh my God, that'd be cool.
We used to take pride in Holston across the shirt. Yeah.
What do you reckon, Philip?
I'm usually teetotal, but if there's a Guinness going, I'll have a Guinness.
What do you reckon, Philip? The Guinness Arena.
Guinness already. Oh, Jesus. Well, it'd be the Diageo. Diageo, I think, on Guinness, so that doesn't got such a ring about it. No, this thing about the Chinese coming in, I wouldn't mind if a company in China, like Huawei, whatever you call them, that bought them. But I don't want it to be like United, that a tenuous. Oh, it's not the Saudi government that own us. Well, in fact, it is the Saudi government that own them. I wouldn't like to be associated with the Chinese government and the human rights record.
No.
So, you know, if it's a private enterprise or...
We'll put it this way.
else,
if Google get the naming rights, then we won't be taken over by Chinese because Google's not in China. So they're banned in China. So that'll put the kibosh on that one. I'll just be
back in a minute, guys. Just be back in 1 minute. Sorry. Go on.
Okay, no problem.
I think that I don't think that whoever gets it, Google or Amazon, I don't think they have an immediate effect on the transfer window for the simple reason that 25 million. I mean, you know, whether they you could argue if they put that to pay off the debt, then it releases 25 million. So, whichever way you look at it, it releases 25 million pound. They might use the 25 million pound to upgrade the pitch so they can get more events on quickly. And that might be part of the contract. They might say, well, look, we'll give you this contract, but you've got to put your money into this so that we can put more stuff on. So, but whatever way you look at it, it releases 25 million pounds. But 25 million pounds is probably going to pay off for Kulusevski. So it's not going to have a massive impact. But whoever gets the deal, it's going to put us in the public eye more. It's going to be really good to, we're going to be more known around the world, whether it's Google or Amazon. Yeah. So, and that might attract other sponsorship and other money from other people. And ultimately, it might attract, a takeover. But let's face it, we all know what Daniel Levy's like. He ain't going to be selling unless he gets, top money. So it's interesting. I if anyone saw Sean Butler do his thing on the Google thing. Yeah, that was very interesting because apparently it's he's been in investment banking, and this sort of stuff, so he probably knows more than I do on it. But he was saying that Joe Lewis is 85 years old, and that's old. He ain't got long in this world, to be fair. And so this is probably just making sure that his family, when he does die, his family are protected. Blah 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 blah. So I think that's all it is. But he did make the point. And it's only speculation that it seems a very strange time of year to be doing it. You normally will do that at the end of the year or whatever you might do. So it could indicate two things. Maybe, and again, speculation. If Joe Lewis is in poor health, maybe, his daughter apparently is a massive Tottenham fan. And I think he used the word, was it risk tolerance? So under ENIC, they've got a big risk tolerance. So they won't take that extra risk, whereas apparently his daughter has got I don't know if it's a higher risk tolerance or a lower risk tolerance. In other words, she would take more risks with investing in the club, which obviously would be a good thing for Tottenham because that's been the main thing holding us back financially is that ENIC won't put that extra bit in, that extra £5 million to pay for Bruno Fernandes, that sort of thing, so it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
Our profile is so high at the moment in America after those two NFL games that were shown, coast to coast, and some of the comments are coming back about the stadium are incredible, and in the world, all this sort of stuff. So it's a good time for Google or Amazon to move in because it's high profile based on that still being fresh in the memory.
Yeah, and exactly like we've got our own on Amazon. When Amazon did the filming, we actually got our own site in Amazon. It's like an actual Tottenham Hotspur merchandise site in Amazon. So profile. That's what I was looking for, Phil. Profile. The profile, whether it's Google, whether it's Amazon, will go sky high. So it's only going to be a good thing. But as an effect on maybe not the current transfer window, but certainly as we get a higher profile, then you attract more money, and if you put on more events, you get more money. Blah 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 blah. Then hopefully that will affect it's not going to be negative on the transfer market, is it? If Google or Amazon come in and have the naming rights deal worth £25 million a year for 10 years or whatever, it's not going to be negative on the transfer market. It's only going to be a positive thing. But how much it will affect it will depend on, and also how well we do.
Lidl or Aldi didn't come in the name, and imagine that.
If who? Sorry.
you know, the cut price supermarkets, cut price sponsorship.
Oh yeah.
Kmart, yeah. Primark, the Primark Stadium.
Arsenal would just be selling "You'll Never Walk Alone" videos. That's what we're doing. Yeah, I liked Sean Butler's talk. It was really exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was.
Arsenal should do what's written on the side of their shirts: "Visit Rwanda." Yeah. See, look, I've got Sean Butler up there. Look.
All right.
He's talking about. Yeah. Do you know what I find strange though? What I find strange is that we spent all this money on our ground, and now we need to upgrade on the pitch.
Well, that
make
I think
more money for.
Yeah, that's to do. I think that's connected
They've upgraded initially.
Yeah, that's connected in with the naming rights. I think because they all say, well, look, you know, if you're only putting on, you know, a show 2 bits a week, we want more stuff on there. And apparently, it takes 48 hours to push to change to get it set up from NFL to football.
It does. Yeah, so what is the turnover? What do they want? Do they want to do it in 2 hours or 3 hours? That sort of thing.
Well, no, at the moment it takes football. The pitch itself only takes half an hour, but I think it's getting all the stuff done with all the, you know, the signings.
It takes 2 days.
2 days,
to go, 2 days to go from a football. 2 days to go from
a football plan. Yeah, I'd imagine that the naming will be based on.
What about when they have concerts? Is it the same?
I don't know.
They have to hide the pitch, don't they?
Yeah, well, you put a cover on the pitch, and then whatever they stage to build in the stadium as well. And Philip, look, we've been waiting since 2018, I think, for these naming rights. Can you give Levy a bit of credit for not rushing in and taking the first deal coming, or do you think it's
I will, because I'll tell you, he's probably had numerous offers. Which we never, you know, there's probably been a lot of people want to get the name on that stadium, but the offers probably haven't been anywhere near what he needs. And he also said he wanted to hold out for a sponsor that suited the profile of the club, and he couldn't get bigger than Google or Amazon, you know. So I'd say he's taking his time, but he's taking his time in a good way, because he could have jumped into the first offer he made maybe, and it could have been something that wasn't. How would you say, didn't tie in with the reputation and the profile that we now enjoy worldwide, and especially like look at what's happening to us out in the Far East in Korea. You know, how many shirts have been sold out there? I'm sure Google are big out in Korea. I don't know if they are or not, but I'm sure they are. And Amazon will be as well. So no, he's dead right, holding on for the right type of sponsor. To befit our status as that top club.
Also, the high profile thing. No matter what you think of Nike or Get Here or even Dulux paints for that matter, and Coca-Cola, they're all high profile products. So yeah, I agree. I think they're waiting for some. Google and Amazon obviously are high profile. So yeah.
Look. My thought on it is, look. I think he done. I praise Levy for this. He's waiting for the best deal for the club. Now, it's all good for Tottenham Hotspur. The money's not going to Traverstock Group. It's not going to Levy. It's going to Tottenham Hotspur Football Club, which means there's money for the ladies' team. There's money for the youngsters, and there's also money for Conte in the transfer market. This money cannot be used for building hotels or cinemas or nothing, because that money is going to the football club. All this cinema and stuff was actually put into the contract when the stadium was built, and it's part of the agreement that ENIC and Tottenham Hotspur had with Haringey Council when the stadium was built. So look, I think it's a great thing for Tottenham Hotspur. I think Levy's done a brilliant job waiting out for the best deal. And I know I'll probably take flack from some people for saying that, but that's generally how I feel. Well, I think he's done a good job.
It's a great. If we get this deal, whether it's Amazon or Google, it's a great deal. But I don't think anyone's ever had any problems with the way he runs the club on a business side and getting us financially viable. But it all comes down to what money gets put back into the football team.
That's right.
So you can have as many. I love the idea of American football at our stadium. I love the idea of going to see a gig at our stadium because it makes money. You know, they make money from food, drinks, all that sort of stuff. But as long as it goes back into the football club, because that is why Tottenham Hotspur are here.
Yeah,
I mean, also
it's our existence.
Yeah, I mean, Brad, I'll start with you, and then I'll go to you, Philip, and then you, Ellie. Look, we have back Conte in this summer's transfer market. Now, I think it was a good window, and I think we could have done more, yes, but I think it's a good window, and I think we will get 1 or 2 players in January, and I think next summer is going to be a great window for us as well. Do you think Levy has changed these ways with Conte, where he didn't back POCH? We spent 3 windows, we didn't spend a penny. Do you think that's also because of the new stadium? But do you think he's changing his ways now with Conte?
I don't think he's changed his ways. I just think he knows that this is probably his last chance with Conte, because if he screws up this one with Conte, I think that's curtains. I think the reaction from the supporter base will be so big, a lot bigger than what it was earlier. I think the people that have sat on the fence, if the Conte deal fails for whatever reason, and because people will link it with Conte, and it comes out the backing. If we back Conte, he'll stay. He'll stay, because I think if Conte achieves something with Tottenham Hotspur, that's a massive feather in his cap. It's a real big thing. On his CV and well, just a personal sort of satisfaction. I don't think Levy has changed, but I think I'm hoping that Conte has come in and said, look, you either do it my way or not. And basically that way is you run the business, you run the football club, you run the business side, and that sort of thing. Leave the football to me. And I've said this many times. There's obviously going to be a budget for players. It might be this much, might be that much. I'm just hoping that Conte's had that thing. So look, you give me the money, but you just stay out of it. And if I want to spend 20 million on expense, I'll spend 20 million. Or probably a bad example, but I'll spend that money. I think the transfer window could have been better, but it could have been a lot worse. And I guess at the end of the day, we don't know the players that we did need, we didn't get, but we don't know whether we were bidding for them at the time. I think the problem we had really was he obviously wanted to have a player coming in before getting rid of the player, and that's why I think Brian Hill's still at the club. For whatever reason, that deal fell through with Valencia, or it might have been no, we haven't got time to get a new player in. So I thought the transfer window, it had some, we did still need stuff, and there's still areas that we need to address. But I don't think it's I don't think it's as bad as everyone seems to be making it out. But it could have been better. Of course, it could.
Philip, look.
Yeah.
The question's there, the naming rights. I mean, how do you see January and next summer going, Philip? Transfer wise for Conte.
Well, just to continue, Brad was saying that I don't think Levy's changed his ways. I don't think Levitt doesn't change, but what he's done, he's amended his ways to suit the fact that he's now got a manager who can stand up to him, can dictate to him, if you like, and say, you do it my way or the highway. And I think that's what he's done. And the window, while it wasn't perfect, it was better than an awful lot of windows we had before, especially the 3 we bought nobody. So I think as long as Levy keeps his nose clean with Conte will stay. But on the flip side of that, if Levy goes back to his old tricks again, Conte will be like a bat out of the hell out of that club. He will not stay if he feels he's been dishonoured or he's been lied to. So I think
no, spot on for that. And whatever we think about transfer window, the January one's got to be good as well, or it's got to be.
January's not a great time for buying players. Okay, we probably had the best window last January. We got Kulusevski and Bentancur, which was an amazing bit of business. Even though some of the fans classed them as Juventus rejects, but
I can't get over that.
Get stuff with the real stuff, They've been brilliant. So,
they have. Ellie, look.
Yeah.
Look, we all hope for every window we'll get these good players in. I know I said to you before with the contract situation now with Conte, and January will be 6 months left in his contract. Do you think Conte has the higher ground out over Levy? It's a case of give me what I want, or I'm out that door, and I'm going to tell everyone why. Do you think Conte owes the higher card here?
I don't think. I think they've got a really good relationship, right? So I think Levy will please him. I think he will please the Don himself, because when you think about it, it's a coup that he got him in the first place. So he won't want to lose him by upsetting him, by not giving him the money that he requires. See, Conte traditionally don't spend a lot of money. He doesn't really spend loads.
No, he doesn't.
So he buys players that he feels fits his system. And I think he will have Paratici working overtime before the World Cup and after the World Cup. The January window's after the World Cup, so he'll be ready to strike at the ones that he wants. So I think he's already penciled in all the ones that he wants and which ones Paratici can deliver. Because a lot of the time, what I hear is it's not so easy to get transfers over the line, because there's agents to deal with. There's so many other factors that can get in the way of a transfer. And then there's the player himself. Does he want to move from his country? So it's not as easy as people think. But I still think Conte will get his way, but he'll do it without upsetting Levy. Because we know that he's like
I don't know if you can hear me.
He's like a spoiled brat, isn't he? Where he's like,
yeah. Yes. What's that?
I'm going to have to head off.
All right then, Philip.
Okay, Philip.
Oh,
have a great cruise,
Philip. See you after the game.
Yeah. That'll be a great one.
See you later.
See you later. Philip, what's your score prediction for tomorrow? What's your score prediction for tomorrow?
Sorry, one each.
One each.
Okay.
One each.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, big up, Philip, and be safe out there.
Okay, mate. Have a good time.
Yeah, big up, Philip.
All right, see you later.
We're not worthy.
Big up, Philip. Thank you. there is the Godfather himself.
Going back to Conte, what Ellie was saying about Conte, he made a very good point, interesting comment in one of his press conferences last year, or maybe this season, that it's all about honesty with him. If Levy or the board are honest with him, then he's fine. So if Levy comes and says to him, "You got this much money," and it turns out we haven't, and they said, "Well, actually, no, you can't," then I think he'll be off. So I think, as I said, I think if they're honest with him and say, "Look, you've got this much money to spend," blah blah blah, then I think it will stay. Again, I think we can't overlook the part that Paratici played in I think getting Conte as well. Because apparently after the set that when we lost to Man United 3-0, apparently he was seen storming into the stadium at 2-0 when the second goal went in, and I just had these visions of him getting on the phone. Antonio, the job's yours. Do you want it? Sort of thing, you know.
Well, I'll
give you what happened that night. After the game, Paratici went into the dressing room and let rip at the players.
Really?
And Nuno then knew his job. At half-time, the calls were already being made to Conte. That deal was already going to be set. And I think Conte knew as well that Nuno knew his job.
It was done pretty quickly, wasn't it?
He knew he stays the number, didn't it?
He did. We've got Wilton McDonald saying here.
Going back to Wolves.
Yeah, that's true. We've got Wilton McDonald says, whatever we may think of Daniel Levy, I have every confidence in him to keep us from overstretching ourselves financially and keeping the club current. He also put, Poch was unfortunate that the club was in process of building a new stadium, so funds were limited. And that's a very good point. I mean, we all look back and think, yeah, Poch wasn't backed, but we were in the process of building a new stadium. I'll start with you, Ellie, on this.
Yeah.
Do you think that that's just an excuse, or do you think, right, okay, we were building a new stadium, there was going to be a downturn in the economy. We're a lot better off than some other clubs are after the pandemic. So do you think it was right just to get the odd players in, or do you think Levy should have said, throw caution to the wind, give Poch 200 million, 250 million, see what we can do? What do you think? What do you say to Wilton McDonald when he said that?
There's two ways you can go here, right? You can look at the long-term future of Spurs. He's going to make us so sustainable And my brother said something very poignant the other day. He said he's putting the building blocks in to secure our domination of British football. Because when you think about it, if you build a stadium that fits 60 odd thousand, that's a lot of revenue. And then you've got all the naming rights, and you've got the concerts, and you've got NFL. You know, all this money, as long as they put it back into the team, which a lot of fans, you know, they're thinking, are they, will they, won't they? You know, they're not
How's your father?
They're not quite confident in Levy's track record, you see. So he is doing the right thing, though, by putting us up there, getting us up there with the Man Uniteds and the Liverpools. I wouldn't say Man City because they're new on the block. You're talking about established British clubs who have dominated British football. So if we can get up to their level and compete with them every single year and even win things this time, because we've been starved of trophies, haven't we? Come on, 1 in 14 years is just not cutting the mustard at Tottenham Hotspur Football Club. So we've got to improve. We've got to get some over the line. Because POCH, he done it on a very minuscule budget. So imagine what Conte's going to do with the naming rights and the stadium money and the NFL league. We can push on. This is the time to push on. Don't mess it up, Levy. Do not mess this up.
Yeah.
Because we've got the greatest manager in charge of us now. He's better than Pop.
Look, Ellie, I'll come to you now in a minute, Brad, with a sort of similar question, but worded in a different way. But Ellie, look, we can all look back on Poch's time with a bit of rose-tinted glasses. You know, we got to that final, we got to that semi-final. But he wasn't the manager to take us over that line. He made many mistakes in the semi-final against Chelsea. He played Song in the win-back role. For the Champions League final, as much as I love Poch and hope Poch does come back one day to us and take us to a glory, because I think he will one day, I just feel he just didn't have that expertise or that experience to take us over the line where a Conte or that sort of elite manager can make a change during the game. And I think that's where we fell over.
I think
do you agree with that, Ellie? Or
to a point, you've got some very good points in there. But I think with the difference between Conte and Levy, Conte, he knows how to win. He's a winner. He's done it. He's been there. Poch has never been there. He went to PSG and he won a couple of cups, but everybody wins cups at that club.
He didn't even win the league the first season. Yeah, but he didn't win the league in the first season.
He didn't win the league. Lille did. Yeah. And then he won the league the second year because he had him in Neymar, Messi, and Mbappe. If you can't win the league with those three, you should retire.
It's like sticking you and Brad up front. I mean, we win the league for PSG. First three were
you know what I mean? But being serious about it, though, I liked Poch, but if he got one over the line, he made drastic errors. That final decision, like playing Kane, when he was like a croc. He was a croc. He couldn't even jump for the ball.
I agree with you to a certain extent, but I think, and yes, that we can criticise some of his decisions. But at the end of the day, there was times when we were in all of those semi-finals and finals. There were times when we were actually quite unlucky. If you look back to the Champions League final, we had that dodgy penalty in the first minute of the game, so we're 1-0 down straight away. And then we had the situation where Van Dijk had an absolutely brilliant game.
Well unlucky.
And there was, and I've said this many, many times. There's an interesting, I think it might be Mora. He hits the shot, it goes just wide, and then 2 minutes later, Origi has a similar shot, and it goes in. So you're looking at a 6 inch, a foot difference. Both shots were good, but one was just slightly better, and that's where the game runs. If Mora's shot goes in, it's only 1-1. You've got a different game.
Yeah.
So I think we can criticise Poch, and probably was the wrong decision to play Kane. Son at left wing back, but I think we had a little bit of unluck. I think the semi-final against Chelsea, I think we outplayed them, and then suddenly one of their guys scores this screamer of a goal. Yeah.
Matic.
You know,
Matic scored
so
it. Who never hardly scores.
Yeah,
And that bloody Drogba as well.
There's little fine margins, isn't it? Little fine margins that affected the game.
You know, we lost the league to Leicester because it was a miracle. Any other season, that would have never happened.
We scored more goals than them and little less.
Yeah.
I don't know how we finished third that season.
I think he had a little bit of the history of the club, a little bit of unluck there. So, and going back to the stadium, as I remember it, Levy's mantra used to be, well, the money for the stadium is ring fence. It won't affect the transfer budget. Now, that's not saying the transfer budget, how much it was, but he kept on saying that. No, it won't affect the transfer budget. And, you know, we had, 2 or 3 seasons where we didn't sign anyone. So I think, you know, you can put criticism there. Now, the other thing that comes up is...
Who do you blame? Who do you blame for not giving him more players to play with?
So,
well, to be fair, could you blame them if you've got Steve Hitchen buying the local farmer down from down the road that couldn't kick an arse, couldn't go bull up the arse? I mean, to be fair, how many transfers does Steve Hitchen make that wouldn't even get in?
He made some very good signings as well.
Yeah, but Ellie, he made a
like
mess.
Gareth Bale, for example.
Yeah, what did we do with the Gareth Bale money? Only one player out of them seven or 8 players we bought. You can name one player out of that. Christian
I'm saying what Gareth Bale brought to our team.
Yeah,
the only regret I've got about Gareth Bale is that we didn't get a trophy over the. I think we did. We won the League Cup. I'm sure he was in the team that day. In the team that won in 2008. I think he was, wasn't he?
No.
Or was he on the subs bench?
He wasn't.
I don't think so.
No,
he wasn't
remember.
there.
I thought he played.
No, he didn't, Ellie.
No, I think
he didn't play.
Yeah.
So when did he start playing?
No, it wasn't because we were managed by what's his face in that
Ramos.
Ramos.
And then
because Harry Redknapp brought him.
Yeah, Harry
didn't
Redknapp said that he brought Bale on, didn't he? He went through all those games without being on the winning side.
The point I'm trying to make is right. This is the point I'm trying to make. Is look, Paratici in a shorter time has bought better players than Hitchen did in his whole tenure as football director at the club. He bought Lamella a heap of bloody crap. He bought your man that's gone out to Napoli, Don Bellier, a heap of shite. He bought players that weren't good for our club, weren't fit to wear the shirt. This
is it, Dermot. This is what I get back to with the penny pinching. The season that we wouldn't pay an extra $5 million, whatever it was, for Bruno Fernandes, who would have been a perfect replacement for Richarlison, and who had a storming season when Man United bought him, and yet we're spending 65 million on Ndombele. So it's that penny pinching that is my massively biggest criticism of.
Yeah, I agree with you, Brad. And look, I'm sitting on the fence with this Levy out, Levy in, because I think he's done nothing wrong this season for me to make me feel he kept Conte, he backed him in the transfer window. Not everyone will agree with that, but I think he did for a good window. We've got to see what he does in January and next summer. Look, he's done a lot of good for the club, but if you look, the main problem was Steve Hitchen and the people, the scouts. Paratici came out and said he had to completely rebuild the scouting network,
which he's doing at the moment, isn't he?
Yeah. Who employed Steve Hitchen? Daniel Levy.
Yeah, but Ellie, you can use that argument as much as you like. You can say it was all Levy's fault. Yeah, but Hitchen was given...
No, it's not all his fault. It's not all his fault. What I'm saying, he employed him, so he should have sacked him when he was going pear-shaped.
He did it, and he
brought
someone in
quicker.
But look, you can't... Paratici's had to rebuild the mess Hitchen left us in. You can say all you like that. Yeah, he bought good players in. Yeah, he bought 1 or 2. We wasted the Bale money when Bale was sold to Real Madrid. We wasted that. Only Christian Eriksen out of that group of players was anywhere half decent. Paratici's come in. Okay, not all of his signings have been good, to be fair. But you look at the Romero and Kulusevski he bought in last January. People calling them rejects.
Those 3 make up for everything.
Yeah, you look what he's bought in. You look who's bought in this summer as well with the players we've bought in. Okay, Basuma, he's bought in. Okay, look, Emerson. All you want to do is go to Emerson, is give him a hug. That when you see Emerson play, that's what you want to do to the ball. Well, if you're Ellie will run on the. That's what Ellie wants to do every time.
I wouldn't do that to you.
Yeah.
I'll give you a kiss.
The point I'm making, guys, is look, you can blame Levy for a lot of things, but other people also have to take responsibility for that time under POCH as well. And I think you can ring fence one person. He's the figurehead. He's the person that has to go onto the TV. He's the person that all the fans will go to. But you also got to criticise the people that were under him at the time, Steve Hitchen and the scouts and everyone under there at that time period. And we seem to now have got it right. We've got Paradici, who's getting the right scouting networking, the right people. We bought that head scout from Rangers in the summer, who done brilliant up there. I must admit, he got Stephen Gerrard, some really good players up in Rangers. I hate to say it. So look, I think we're in a better place now than we were, and I think with the new stadium, with the naming rights, you're going to watch us fly up that league. Because I would say,
again, it comes down to the next couple of windows, 2 or 3 windows.
Do you think, Brad, that would you like? How many players do you want to see? And I do the same question to you, Ellie. How many players do you want to see Tottenham in? How many players do you want to see Paratici and Conte get in January? And where do you want them to go looking for?
I just want to get 2 players, right? I just want to get a creative midfielder, and it's a toss between the centre back. Yeah. I think a centre back would be better if Dyer gets injured, or if he feels there's better than Dyer out there. I think that those 2 positions, because I think he will play Spence eventually, and he's got Doherty rocking and rolling. Really, he's looks like a new man, even though he's still not 100% fit. I thought he played very well.
Yeah,
you know, people could say we need a world-class right wing back. Yeah, but I think we need more creativity through the middle.
You know, I probably agree with you, Ellie.
And then just defend. Kulu's on the left. Kulu's on the right anyway, He's on the right and he can create all sorts of trouble, that player.
I think I'll go with Ellie on that one as well. I think certainly we need a top centre-back to cover for Dyer or even replace Dyer, or, you know, be in competition with Dyer. We need that creative midfielder, because if you look back to I also go back to the 2017 Tottenham team, when ironically Chelsea won the league under Conte. Yeah, that's probably the best Tottenham team I've seen. Yeah. And we had Ericsson and Dele Alli at the time when he was in his pomp, 2 midfielders scoring loads and loads of goals. You need goals from your midfielders. Kulusevski, to be fair, scored a fair few goals towards the end of last season. So I think that midfielder, someone like James Maddison or whoever it might be, I think will be very, very good. But I don't think it's going to be many players bought in January. But the World Cup's going to have an effect on it. I think January transfer window will be different from normal January transfer windows, because you basically got, wherever the teams are at the start of the World Cup, you've got them starting from scratch again. Yeah. And you'll need, I think, though, you might find them thinking, right, and you might have injuries coming back from the World Cup as well. So I think the January transfer window will be slightly different from the normal ones. Yeah. But again, let's see where we are. And again, you know, someone might get injured between now and so you might need to replace a player because of whatever. So, but I think if everyone's fit, I think give me 2 players, a centre back and a creative midfielder. Yeah, we'd all like that world-class right wing back, but who is there? I mean, everyone goes on about Hakimi, but I don't remember ever seeing us linked with him, or the fact that he even wanted to come to Tottenham or leave wherever he's playing. So, you know, it's and I think Spence hopefully will be in the future, will be that player. And don't forget, we've also got next season, we've got that Udogie coming back, who's you know, doing really, really well in Italy at the moment. So Udogie, so
we can have Carl saying who let the dogs out when he comes.
Exactly. I think one thing we do have to address, one place we do have to address, and it won't, I don't think, be in January, will be the goalkeeper, because I think we can't. I mean, obviously, Forster's obviously a good backup at the moment, but obviously he's older than Lloris, so we're going to have to look at replacing Lloris at some stage, and you've got to do that before he goes.
I feel you messed up there. Bazzuno for us, our goalkeeper, our national goalkeeper.
Okay, I've heard about him. Yeah.
He's a great. His distribution is unreal. I mean, he is so switched on when he gets the ball. I think he's looking up the front, who's free, and he swings the ball out. He's a brilliant keeper. I mean, Tottenham have gone on record saying they regret not going for him when he was at Man City. Yeah. But look, we're going to end up the show here. Ellie, look, we'll get your score predictions very quickly. Ellie, we've got your show starting on Friday.
That's right.
We've got Queen Ellie Spurs Ladies.
It was supposed to start today, wasn't it? But we had some technical issues with setting up the actual intro, so we've got it all sorted now. So we're going to go live on Friday because we've got our show tomorrow, haven't we, Dermot?
Yeah, we've got a new show starting tomorrow at 2:00 called Thfc Till I Die News Beat, where we're going to take the latest news from the day. We're going to have the predicted lineups. We're going to have a little build up to the Man United game. We're going to go through the naming rights again, me and Ellie, and we're going to try to explain different things. And look, that's going to be every day at 2:00. We're going to have news
every
beat.
day at 2:00.
And also, Ellie, 3 weeks Friday, we have a 24-hour charity stream.
Yeah.
And people can the PayPal link for that, which is linked to 3 different charities, is on the YouTube channel. And again, look, for reaching 700, do you want to say anything to the people watching?
Just tune in when you can. Are we going to have guests on as well?
Yeah, we're going to try to get people on, and that.
Yeah,
it's going to be fun. We're going to have a quiz. We're going to show the 84 UEFA Cup final. We're going to get Ellie doing the match. We're going to do THFC of the day, where Ellie will do the match of the day theme, which people now love to listen to. I'm going to put that out for Christmas. Ellie number 1 Ellie's match of the day theme, Christmas number 1. Ellie, we've reached.
I'm going to be the official singer of Match of the Day's theme tune.
Yeah, you are.
I think they're going to hire me after they listen to that.
Ellie, look, we've reached 700. Do you want to say anything to the people out there? Just what do you want to say to anyone?
I want to say a big thank you from all us at THFC Till I Die. We've worked very hard for you guys, and you've paid us back. So we really do appreciate all the support you're giving us, and even joining us in the evenings to have a little chat about the old Spurs. It's all good at the end of the day. And what I like about it, we've got our regulars who are loyal to us. You know, there might be bigger channels than us, but we've got the best people joining us, and they stay with us throughout the stream. You know, and that counts for something. And we really, really appreciate you all.
Yeah, and I want to say thank you as well to Ellie, to Philip, for for all they've done. I've got a great gang of people on this channel with me, and I'm really, really over the moon. To get 700 is overwhelming for me at the moment. I'm finding it very hard.
Brad as well for joining us today.
Brad is part of the furniture as well. But Ellie, Ellie, score predictions tomorrow. Tottenham Man United. We'll probably ask you again tomorrow when we do Newsbeat.
I'm going to do a reverse. I'm going to do a reverse of last year. They beat us 3-2. I think we're going to beat them 3-2 this year.
All right. And Brad, score predictions for you?
Well, I said it on Irish's show last night, and I said it on We Are Tottenham TV. I was really confident going into the Chelsea game, and we scraped a draw. I was really confident going into the Man City game, and it was postponed. I was really confident going into the Arsenal game. We got beat. So, despite my confidence in our ability to beat Man United, I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw, like Philip said. I would be incredibly disappointed if we lose tomorrow night. Really pissed off.
Yeah.
I'll be absolutely over the moon if we win. But if we draw, I won't be. I won't be too disappointed. But I think we can win. Don't get me wrong. But I'm a bit longer than two supporting Tottenham Hotspur, and these are the games we have to win, and we don't seem to. So it's about time we change that. Yeah. But you know what? I don't want to get ahead of myself and say, we're going to win, woo, because I normally fall flat on my face when I say that. So, so I think that we're going to a 1-1 draw.
Okay, and Andrew Gregory says he's looking forward to your next song. Brad, tell people where they can find you, sir.
Yep, if you go onto YouTube and search for Blue Sofa Songs, as it says there, I think if you search for me, you'll find it as well. Although I think there's a wrestler called Brad Matthews, and there's also a guy who fights sharks called Brad Matthews. But Blue Sofa Songs on Twitter, it's B Sofa Songs, where I literally put the same videos on there. I'm trying to get a new song every Friday at 5 o'clock. The last two I'm actually really pleased with how they worked out. In fact, the last one got over 100 views in under 3 days, which is the biggest viewed one I've had. Although there's not a lot of me singing on it, so maybe that was why. But yeah, I've got another song coming out this Friday. I try and do different things on there because I'm learning as a songwriter. I'm learning as a guitar player. So yeah, that's why you'll see a certain song on there one week and a different song the next week. Sometimes they work, sometimes they don't. But I think by doing a song every week, it forces me into writing one. Yeah. And I think when you have to do that, you get better than if you sit down and think, right, I'm going to take 4 weeks to write the best song ever, because you never will. So if I'm writing one song a week, and that's what I'm doing now. The one I was basically coming through with today is going to be a new one. And they literally can change before I record it. I'm like, I might do that instead. And so yeah, so it'll be a new song this Friday. Thank you to everyone that supported the channel. I've clicked over 109 subscribers now. Hopefully we'll get more. And thank you for everyone that supported the channel and your comments. Really always appreciated because it inspires me to do more. And any advice, anything, just watch it and comment. And click like and subscribe.
That's it.
That's it.
Ellie, look,
come on.
We can't do this without you doing it. So I'm gonna hang on. I'm going to give you solo there. Ellie, hang on. I don't know. Hang on if you can hear me. Ellie, put you on solo. Take us out with your famous tune.
Okay, ready for it, guys?